Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pickwick and Week 7 of the CCSFF. We're here at the Brownabow, home of Dave Brown's boys, which is nestled in this historic corner of Corsham, home to an array of beautiful old architecture. Much of the aristocracy of the town live in this area. There are a surprising number of gentlemen by the name of Tarquin, and it's interestingly an area seemingly untouched by the fads of modern fashion. It's a full house here for this clash between Dave Brown's boys and Hardley Athletic FC. Here to soak up the atmosphere, the scenery, and most importantly the football is Gavin Gooseberry. Well, a good day to you, David, and to our listeners at home. That's how you talk up here, innit, Dave? It's well posh. Lovely people in Pickwick, don't get me wrong, but you're right when you say they don't know how to dress for shit. It's like you've never heard of TK Maxx. Well, it's not quite what I said, Gavin, but I know what you mean. Anyways, we've got more pressing matters today than the lack of fashion sense of the people of Pickwick. Dave Brown's boys were leapfrogged in the league last week by Pasty United after a 2-1 defeat at Basil Hill Barracks. A match in which many thought the Brownies were the better team, but they weren't able to get a result. They'll be looking to get back to winning ways today against Hardley Athletic, a team who have had their ups and downs so far this season and for whom I suspect the All-Star break can't come soon enough. While they will be bolstered by the return of a couple of key players from suspension today, their squad looked tired and run down last week against the Bences Lane Bastards, although they still turned in a gritty performance to their credit. A tough couple of fixtures to finish the first half of the season for this Cologne outfit. They would love to sneak a result here today. Yeah, as is the Hardley Athletic way, the solution to fatigue tends to be another pie with a Mars bar to chase and get back out there on the pitch the following week. Not much rotation of his players, and it's catching up with manager Mace and his squad. Still, they've shown when they're on form that they've got some talent in the team, and they can score goals. Dave Brown's boys were tipped as title contenders coming into this season, and whilst I very much still consider them such, they have had a couple of frustrating results against close rivals. In the media this week, Chairman Brown, characteristically, did not hold back his criticism of his players, and particularly his manager, Matt the Cat Sanchez, after the loss to Pasty United last week. Sanchez is a cool cat, but I think he'll be feeling the pressure to get a win today. Okay, well, kickoff is fast approaching. Just time for Gavin Gooseberry to take us through the lineups, starting with the visitors, Hardley Athletic FC. Thanks, Dave. Well, what do you want first, Hardley fans? The good news or the bad news? The good news is that goalkeeper Dean Norris and top goal scorer Daniel McCabe returned to the team, well rested and raring to go. The bad news is that other key players like Saunders and Pritchard are heavily fatigued and struggling for fitness. It's a familiar 1-3-1 formation. The goalkeeping gloves are back on the meat-beaten hands of Dean Norris, with Norris rejoining his county primary compadre Sam Perry to form the back two. Pritchard is back in the midfield after playing up front last week against the Bastards in McCabe's absence. He's joined by the Scotsman Colin Sims and captain Matt Saunders. McCabe is back, and the Fat Boys are going to need him to be at his best today if they're to get a result. He has 4 goals in 5 appearances in the league so far. Dave Brown's boys are unchanged from the team that suffered a narrow defeat last week against Pasty United. They mirror Hardley Athletics formation with a 1-3-1 of their own. The pride of Lippiat, David Laker, has been ever present between the sticks for the Brownies. He's conceded 10 goals so far this season, which ain't bad in this league. In front of him at centre-back, Jordan Edwards. He is in a rich vein of form in terms of remembering his kit, having not had to dip into the beggar box since week 3. If he can keep that consistent and then improve on the actual football part of football, he could improve to be one of the better defenders in this league. As things are, plenty of questions still linger about Jordan Edwards' capabilities. It'll be a crowded midfield today with a 3-on-3 battle, but Dave Brown's boys are certainly cramming it with quality. Matthew Page up the left, Craig Mace up the right, and Stuart Tutty will look to direct traffic from the centre. 8 league goals between these 3 so far this season. And once again, bigger boy Tim Jeffries will lead the line. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists as of week 6. It's clearly going to be quite a battle in the midfield, where both teams are heavy on quality and quantity. I do give Brown's boys the edge in that area though, especially with Pritchard and Saunders being so out of shape. Both teams will fancy their strikers against the opposition's defence. Jeffries of Brown's Boys and McCabe of Hardley Athletic are two of the finest strikers in the league, and Perry and Edwards, well, they are not two of the finest defenders in the league. Thanks, Gavin. Well, the players are running out onto the pitch here at the Brownabout. Well, I say that. Dave Brown's Boys players are running out onto the pitch. More of a lethargic walk from the Hardley Athletic players. Our referee today is Ian Holden. He's gathering the two captains together. And the Hardley Athletic captain Saunders must be really fatigued because he's won the coin toss, and for once, he hasn't inconvenienced everybody by asking to switch ends. You can bet he would have if he wasn't so knackered. So it'll be Jeffries to kick off for Dave Brown's Boys. Manager Mace of Hardley Athletic is barking out his final orders. His opposite number, Matt the Cat Sanchez, cuts an even more nervous figure than usual on the sideline as he stares out to the pitch from his dugout, biting his fingernails already. And we're underway here. Dave Brown's Boys kicking from left to right as we look at it. In their home strip of white with monkey shit brown trim. Hardley Athletic in their classic royal blue with a yellow band. So, Dave Brown's Boys have a free kick in a dangerous position, left of centre, about 30 yards out. Paish and Tutty are in discussion, while referee Holden is trying to get the Hardley Athletic wall of McCabe, Pritchard and Sims to move back the full 10 yards. Holden seems content, and as soon as he moves to take his position, the Wolves shuffle forward a yard or two. Hardley Athletic have obviously done their research, and they know what they can get away with while Holden's in charge. Yeah, it's cheeky, but we've all done it. It ain't cheating if you get away with it. The whistle is blown, and it is Tutty. His free kick is on target, and a fine save from Norris. Two strong hands to that swerving attempt from Tutty, parrying out towards the left side. Striker Tim Jeffries is sprinting over to that side to go and try and retrieve it rather than let it run for a corner. And he gets to it. Hardley Athletic are slow to realise the ball is still in play. Jeffries has all kinds of time. Saunders is the nearest defender, but he's not near. A right-footed cross comes in towards the back post, and it's Mace! The header at the far post from Craig Mace. Beats Norris this time. Sloppy defending from Hardley Athletic. It switched off after the initial save from Norris, and Mace is the grateful beneficiary from within the 6-yard box. A well-directed header. Yeah, I thought Tutty was going to score with that free kick there, and it was a great save to deny him from Bonehead. But like you say, Dave, Hardley Athletic thought their job was done. Good presence of mind from Jeffries to chase it down and keep the pressure on. Mace was elusive in the box, Perry didn't stick with him, and the bearded assassin directed his header well. Yes, it's been all Dave Brown's Boys so far here at the Brownabout. They've made the breakthrough on 13 minutes to the obvious relief of their manager Sanchez. It's 1-0 to the home team. Colin Sims plays it inside to Pritchard, just inside Brown's Boys' half. Oh, it's a loose touch from Pritchard though, and he's dispossessed by Tutty. Pritchard doesn't make much effort to win it back, and Tutty is easily able to step past him and get the Brownies on the attack now. He looks to chip it forward to his fellow bigger boy Jeffries, who wins the aerial battle against Perry, and he nods it down to Mace, who controls about 40 yards, out from goal, quite central. Saunders tries to get a tackle in there, but Mace spreads it beautifully out to Paish on the left side. Not a defender in sight for Paish, and he's able to cut in now towards the area. They've got numbers. Jeffries wants it delivered to the far post, but Paish instead plays it across the edge of the box to Mace, who switches onto his right foot away from Saunders, and he pulls the trigger. Oh, it's two! A crisp strike from Mace from the edge of the area. It was still rising as it hit the back of the net. Norris had no chance. Lovely goal. Hardley Athletic trying to play their football, get numbers forward, but when they gave the ball away there, as Pritchard did, they look ever so vulnerable. Some neat interchanges between the Brownies attacking players, and they got it to patient acres of space on the left. He made the right decision with a pass to Mace, and Maceo done the rest. He's lasered that one. It's going to be an uphill struggle for the Fat Boys now. Yes, Pickwick is as raucous as Pickwick gets right now as the home fans watch their team double their lead. It's a second for Mace. The score is Dave Brown's Boys 2, Hardley Athletic 0. Goalkeeper David Laker gets a rare touch of the ball, and he side puts it to Edwards, who's being pressured by McCabe. Craig Mace offers Edwards an option to the right, which he takes. Oh, a lovely turn from Mace there to get away from Saunders, and he advances into the Hardley Athletic half. He knocks it inside to Tutty. Clever first-time return from the bigger boy. Back to Mace, who's venturing infield now. Saunders has to try and track McCabe because Pritchard has all but given up defending at this point. Mace is looking left, but he plays a slick reverse through ball into the channel for Jeffries to chase. Centre-back Perry is struggling to keep with Jeffries, who controls it just wide of the corner of the area. He slows it down, and now bursts towards the byline. A low-driven cross towards Mace, who dummies it, and it's Paish! What a goal that was! A wonderful team effort. Dave Brown's boys are tearing Hardley Athletic apart here. Yeah, this is champagne football, Dave. I don't think there's a team in the league that can cope with the Brownies' attack when they're in this type of form. Mace was integral to that goal again. But Tutty, Jeffries, and obviously Paish all played their part too. It looked dangerous as soon as Jeffries collected it on the right. You could almost see Perry's knees knocking together as he faced the striker. He ain't getting much help from his midfield, to be fair to Perry though. Saunders seemed to give up at some point there, and Pritchard didn't take any interest at all. I'm pretty sure Jeffries' low cross was aimed at Paish, and Mace knew it. He was wise to let it run, and Paish was ready for it. And Lakers' goal kick is over the head of McCabe, but Tutty is able to bring it down amongst a crowd. He fends off the challenge of Saunders, and exchanges a 1-2 there with Jeffries, who's dropped deep. The Brownies are advancing once again. Pritchard of Hardley Athletic hasn't moved from his position in the opposition's half. He seems spent and uninterested in defending, so the Piemen are short of numbers in the midfield. Tutty now finds Mace, who takes one touch to set and unleashes from 30 yards. Oh, but goalkeeper Norris is equal to it this time, employing his signature move, the face block, but it rebounds dangerously, and Paish might get to it before Perry. He does, and it's in! It's a fourth for Dave Brown's boys. This match is becoming one to forget for Hardley Athletic. Oh, it is Dave. Once again, the marking was slack. It didn't close down quickly enough, and although Norris did well to make the save initially, as he has multiple times today, the problem with the face block is it's hard to steer the rebound out of harm's way. Paish reacted quickly, unlike the defender Perry, who didn't show enough desire there for me. And it's an easy finish for Paish, past the helpless Norris. Bad to worse for Hardley Athletic, but at least their travelling supporters still have a sense of humour about it. Chip ball from Edwards, I think aimed at Jeffries, but it's way overhit, and it will run through to Norris, the Hardley Athletic goalkeeper. Dan McCabe of Hardley Athletic has had an extremely frustrating day, having not seen enough of the ball in this match to make an impact. He's now sprinting all the way back to his own goalkeeper, demanding the ball. Yeah, fair enough, McCabe. The midfield of Hardley Athletic ain't done him much justice today. There's no use having a striker like him if you don't get him some service. Norris is left with little option than to roll it to McCabe, who immediately comes under pressure from the Brownies striker Jeffries. Well, McCabe goes past him though and bursts into a pocket of space up the centre. Tutty steps forward to challenge McCabe now. McCabe shapes to play it to Sims on the right side. Oh, but he keeps it, switching onto his left foot, and he's left Tutty standing there. Plenty of space ahead of the fat boy striker now. Mace and Paish are retreating in defence, but they're playing catch-up. Pritchard has barely moved in the last 10 minutes, and he's stationed ahead of McCabe up the centre. McCabe is a man on a mission here, though. Mace puts in a slightly desperate tackle, which McCabe is able to hurdle, and he's approaching the penalty area now. He's run the length of the pitch here. Edwards finally leaves Pritchard to try and block McCabe's path. All of a sudden, Pritchard looks interested. Lakers coming out. McCabe squares it, though. Wrong-footing the keeper, and Pritchard tucks it away. Oh, finally, a breakthrough for Hardley Athletic. Pritchard has been inactive for long periods of this game, but he still has a nose for goal. That was all about McCabe, though, wasn't it, Gabby? Yeah, what a run for McCabe. He damn near took on the whole team there. Very unselfish of him to set up his teammate instead of going for goal himself, too. Hardley Athletic have been dominated in midfield today, and that's made it difficult for the Fat Boys' top goal scorer to get a sniff of it. He's had enough. He went back all the way to his goalkeeper, got the ball, and he finally got a chance to show what he could do. Pritchard has been a complete no-show in the second half, but at least he was ready to swing a leg at that when it came his way. Surely only a consolation, but a quality goal, Dave. Paish continues down the left. Only Jeffries in the centre to aim for at the moment. Colin Sims is still battling defensively for Hardley Athletic, and he's making Paish's life difficult. Paish shapes the cross with the left foot, and Sims blocks it at the expense of a corner. Well, after some bickering between Pritchard and McCabe, Pritchard is still refusing to run back and defend this corner, so McCabe will instead. Saunders is breathing heavily, leaning against the near goal posts, but he's back to defend at least, as well as Sims and Perry. It will be Paish to swing this corner in with his right foot from the left side. He's got Mace, Tutty and Jeffries to aim for. Here comes the corner. And Tutty powers the header home. All doubt about this result has now been put to rest. It's 5-1 now. It's too easy, Dave. Colin Sims looked like he was marking Tutty until the Brownies captain made a run, and Sims just seemed to lose interest. I feel for Norris today. He's had absolutely no protection, and he's been left helpless once again. Good ball in from Paish. Tutty timed his run well, got up high and directed his header nicely. We're approaching the final minute of this match, and it hasn't been a contest for quite some time now. Hardley Athletic have had very little in the tank today, and they've been ruthlessly punished by the free-flowing football of Dave Brown's boys. The Brownies have run amok here in front of their home fans. The ball's rolled all the way through to the Hardley Athletic goalkeeper Norris. He gathers, and now he's appealing to his teammates for an option. At this point, Saunders is on his hands and knees in the centre circle, retching from exhaustion. Pritchard is still operating solely within a 2x2 metre square way upfield. Colin Sims seems bored. McCabe is screaming for the ball, but he's surrounded by 3 defenders in the Dave Brown's boys' half. Sam Perry, for whatever reason, has decided to push forward here. I'm not sure why. Not much to aim for Norris. So he hoofs it long, and it's directed towards Pritchard. Most of the attention is on McCabe at that end, but Paish is close enough to challenge Pritchard in the air. Pritchard uses his body well there to shield the ball from the defender and bring it down. He doesn't quite get it under control though, and in fact he gets rid of it quickly. A loose bobbling ball out to the left towards Perry, who will get to this pass about 40 yards from goal. And oh my word! Sam Perry has just scored the goal of his life. As pure a strike as you're ever likely to see. Sat up nicely for him, and he hammered it from distance across the goal of David Laker, and despite his full stretch dive, that shot was destined for the top corner from the moment it left Perry's foot. I can't believe what I just seen, Dave. I don't think a lot of the players can either. Perry modestly jogs back to his half, a little fist bump, but very little celebration. But that is a goal of the season contender. What a strike! And neither Sims or Paish can quite bring that bouncing ball under control, and it's gone out for a throw. Who did it come off last? Does anyone care? No, they don't. Referee Ian Holden blows the final whistle and brings this remarkable game to an end. The Dave Brown's boys, faithful, rejoice. They go into the All-Star break on a high. Gavin, we've witnessed quite a game today. Please give us your final thoughts and your man of the match. Well, we said at the start of the game we thought Hardley Athletics' fitness issues might be a factor, and that's proven true today. The Fat Boys were out of sorts, and they came up against the Dave Brown's boys team with a point to prove, and they've made an example of Hardley Athletic today. Despite a couple of wondrous solo contributions from McCabe and then Perry, the colouring boys have been thoroughly outclassed today. It was all about the Brownies' attack. The bigger boys, Tutty and Jeffries, did their thing as they always do. But I thought Paish and Mace were absolutely superb today. Mace in particular. Especially in that first half, he was popping up in wide positions, cutting infield, finding pockets of space. He was everywhere. He scored the first 2 goals and had a part to play in goals 3 and 4 as well. Macy's playing the blinder today, and he's my man of the match. Okay, thank you, Gavin. So, both Dave Brown's boys and Hardley Athletic are halfway through their league seasons. Both have enjoyed a few highs and suffered some lows, but today it was Hardley Athletic who had to suffer Dave Brown's boys enjoying themselves all over them. The final score here at the Browner Bow: Dave Brown's boys 5, Hardley Athletic FC 2. From my man, Gavin Gooseberry, it's goodbye. Cheers, Anne. And from myself, Dave Mattingly. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time...